Hello, everyone. I want to walk through a situation that happens a lot in business when business users are asking for data, but they're not explicit with their request. So what we have here is we have some data going by month for total Star Wars Lego sets sold. So it's many years. The problem is we didn't specify, or the business user does not specify what other data they want with it. So typically, you get a business analyst involved who has training on this kind of thing. Like they might say, well, do you want it organized by anything, by year? Do you want it organized by type of set sold, price level, like total number of sets under $20 that were sold? Do you want the value, of the total sales, so 18,210 units? Do you want the sales figures, or did you literally just want the units sold because that's what we gave you? So that's something to keep in mind and approach. Identify the need and make sure you identify a proper solution and design for that solution. So that said, I want to walk through how to clean this up a little bit, because if we make a chart out of this, it can be really messed up. We got month here, it just doesn't work well. So even if we got rid of this here, we still have these numbers here that we don't know what they mean. Got a nice little chart here, but we want to fix that up. So we're going to walk through a couple of techniques here. So first and foremost, you would want to identify what year your data starts with. So we're going to say it starts with 17. Okay, so one way we could do this is we could put year 2017 and copy that all the way down to the end of December. And then you might say, well, what about 2018? No, let's do this. This plus 1 and go all the way down. Now that we have it all set up, it's going to go there, all the way to 2020. So in this case, we have multiple years, and it goes to 2020. Now watch what happens if I accidentally delete one of these. I get a weird number here. I get the plus 1, plus 1 on the plus 1 already, plus 1 on the 2. So that's why we also want to be careful and do absolute cell references. So copy that entire thing, paste special value. And I apologize, I said absolute cell references. I meant paste special value, that to get the absolute value out of this and not a formula. So we have that down here. Wonderful, excellent. Now we could run with this, but now you're saying, watch what happens here. It's still not perfect. A couple of things we could do with this, but it's still not perfect. Now one could argue, well, set it up properly, you numbskull, you doughhead. So we would want to right click on this, select data, go to horizontal axes, and select the range instead. So now we have the range in here, that kind of thing. It's still not helpful because we need to have the month. So what we would want to do here is what's called concatenate. And I'll just put month, year. And we're going to use a concatenate function where it combines January, comma, quotes. And you can do a dash here if you want. And then quotes, comma, and then select the year. So now you have it in this format, nice and snappy. It goes all the way down. Bob's your uncle. Now, we don't need to have this data anymore unless you're going to analyze January only, or you want to do something else here. But ultimately, for the purpose of this chart, we don't need any of this stuff. But I'll just mimic deleting it by hiding it for us. And now we can make a chart here. We'll grab all that data, go up to insert, make a chart, and now we have all of our information. Now, one thing that I would argue with you about is, look at this. There's no data under 15,000. First of all, we'd want to do a quick layout, something appropriate to let people know what our data is. And such, we would want axes title, so you want to try and choose something that works for you. This is usually pretty nice. Units, so we know it's not dollars or anything like that. But over here, because we have the same title, we only have one variable, we don't need this label here. So we bump that out. Now we have better insight into our data because of the site. Axis title, and change that time period, or you don't need it at all. It gives us a little bit more real estate there because your audience should know that. Now, one thing I've noticed, look at this 15,000 and up. We got a lot of white space here, so we might want to right click on this, go to format axes, and instead of 0, put in like a 15,000 there. And now we've got our data. We can see it a lot better. We can look at a trend differently, and the like. So just a quick way that starts off with the idea that, hey, sometimes your business users don't ask the right questions. What I mean by that is, if you were to ask the business analyst or the person pulling the data for you out of a report or out of a database, you could have told them you want this. I want it broken out clearly by month and year combined. And so you didn't have to do any of that footwork, okay? But what you could also do is you could have broken out by 3 products or however many exist in here. Now, obviously, if there's 1,000 products, 1,000 different Lego sets that are Star Wars themed, you'd have a lot of line charts here, so that might not be appropriate. But perhaps you could do it based on price level. Number of units that were $20,000 or $20 each, $40, $60. Keeping in mind, though, of course, the data could be skewed because there aren't a lot of Star Wars Lego sets over $100. There's a few, but there's definitely a lot that are right around that $19.99 level. So you might have a problem when you do total in a chart against other products. You might find, boom, we got a lot more of this one, but the $100 one, we don't have that many. So just keep that in mind too when you're thinking about chart design, what kind of data you want in your chart. So thanks for watching.